Picture this. You walk into your garden in late summer, expecting to see wilting plants struggling under the heat, but instead you find lush green leaves, blossoms bursting with color, and soil so alive it practically breathes. The secret? It's not some expensive fertilizer or a new chemical product. It's something ancient, natural, and made from nothing more than burnt wood. I'm talking about biochar. Stick with me for the next few minutes, because I'm going to show you why every gardener, from the backyard grower to the large homesteader, needs to add this one ingredient to their compost if they want soil that stays fertile year after year. At its simplest, biochar is wood that's been burned, but not to ash. Instead, it's charred under low oxygen conditions, a process called pyrolysis that transforms wood into a lightweight, carbon-rich structure full of microscopic pores. To the naked eye, it looks like nothing special, black, brittle chunks of charred wood. But under a microscope, those pores are like a vast city, with billions of little spaces for microbes, nutrients, and water to move into and make a permanent home. This structure is what makes biochar extraordinary. Unlike compost that eventually breaks down and disappears into the soil, biochar remains stable for centuries. It acts as a reservoir, capturing nutrients and moisture so that your plants can access them when they need it most. Think of biochar as the skeleton of living soil, a framework that supports everything else. Long before modern gardening trends, indigenous people of the Amazon were creating what's now called terra preta, or black earth. These soils were found to be rich in charred organic matter, pottery shards, and food scraps. The result? A soil so fertile that it's still incredibly productive today, even after hundreds of years. Scientists studying terra preta realized that biochar was the key. The char locked in carbon, held nutrients in place, and created a thriving environment for beneficial microbes. This wasn't just a temporary soil boost, it was a generational investment in the land. And now modern gardeners are, rediscovering this ancient wisdom and applying it to their own backyards. You might be wondering, why not just spread biochar directly into the garden? The truth is, raw biochar can be a little too good at absorbing nutrients. It's so porous that, at first, it can actually lock up minerals your plants need. That's why, honestly, the real magic happens when you combine it with compost. When biochar is mixed into compost, it becomes, charged. The compost fills those tiny pores with nutrients, beneficial microbes, and organic compounds. The result is compost that doesn't just feed your soil for a season, but, keeps working year after year. It's like turning your compost into a time-release fertilizer that keeps giving long after other amendments have faded away. Once you start using compost enriched with biochar, you'll notice changes that are, honestly, hard to miss. Soil that used to feel heavy and compacted becomes lighter, fluffier, and just easier to work with. Roots grow deeper and stronger because water and nutrients are held right where they need them. During drought or hot weather, biochar acts like a sponge, holding onto precious moisture so plants don't wilt as quickly. In heavy rains, it prevents nutrients from washing away, keeping them locked in the soil. And the benefits don't fade. Each season, the biochar continues building healthier soil. Over time, your garden becomes less dependent on fertilizers, because the soil itself becomes naturally fertile and resilient. You don't need fancy equipment or a science lab to create biochar. All you need is dry, untreated wood, branches, sticks, or scrap wood, and a controlled fire. The goal is to char the wood, not reduce it to ash. One simple way is to use a metal drum or a pit. Burn the wood slowly with limited oxygen until it's blackened but not turned to dust. Then quench the fire with water to lock in the carbon. From there, you'll want to crush the biochar into smaller pieces and mix it into your compost pile. Over a few weeks, the compost will activate the biochar, charging it with nutrients and microbial life. By the time you spread it in your garden, you'll have a living, breathing super compost ready to transform your soil. Biochar-enriched compost works beautifully in vegetable beds, perennial gardens, and even container soil. It's especially valuable for long-term crops like fruit trees and berry bushes because it keeps the soil fertile for years without constant additions. You can also add it to potting mixes for containers, where nutrients tend to leach out quickly. Every season you add biochar compost, your soil gets better. Unlike synthetic fertilizers that give a quick boost and then vanish, biochar creates a foundation of fertility that keeps improving with time. So here's the bottom line. Biochar isn't just another garden trend. It's a proven, ancient method that can turn ordinary compost into a long-lasting soil superfood. By adding it to your garden, you're not just feeding plants today, you're building soil health that could last a lifetime. If this idea excites you, I encourage you to try it in your garden this season and share your results. And if you found this guide helpful, make sure to subscribe to Gentle Herb Living, hit that like button, and share this video with a fellow gardener who's ready to take their soil to the next level. Together, we can grow not just bigger harvests, but gardens that thrive for generations.